And I'll tell you what, you can go in 10 Italian houses and every sauce will taste different. My aunts all were different. One was so sweet you couldn't stand it. One was so bitter you couldn't stand that. And mine, I made it
perfecto.
Not for me it is. Yeah, but see, not everybody. Grandpa loved it. In fact, he was in it when it was still cooking raw.
Oh, really?
All the time. A bowl here, a bowl there. So every home makes it different, you know.
How old is your recipe?
64 years old.
So we're here at Great Grams, as the young ones call her, making sauce.
This spoon is 64 years old, and that's how I measure my sugar and my salt.
You just put it on that giant spoon.
So nothing is measured, you know. So Cardi asked me for meatball recipe. I'd have to make them and then, you know.
Set everything in measuring cups and stuff.
Right, in order to give somebody a recipe.
Well, you're seeing it here. So you're just going to have to guess on how big this spoon is. Let's make sauce.
Well, we're going to do this one for the big kettle. This is the measuring. I sauteed an onion and a half, a large onion and a half, and a whole bulb of garlic in olive oil.
A whole big thing of garlic.
The whole thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a big kettle. So now we're just going to put them in here because we don't put this in the sauce until I cook the sauce for a little while by itself. We're going to use this frying pan to brown the pork and the Italian sausage.
Is it Italian hot sausage or?
Italian hot sausage. 3 pounds in this kettle. We have Ralph Eads home canned tomatoes.
Ooh.
2 large jars.
Our dozens of viewers know Ralphie well.
Yep. Now I'm going to wash my hands real good because I want to get my hands in those tomatoes and get them squashed. And his are so nice. They just do such a nice job.
So you just squash them up with your hands?
Yeah, his are so soft. Now when I have to use the ones in the can, then it's another story. They're real hard.
How many jars does he give you every year?
Well, since you and Darren get some, I don't get as many anymore. I only got 6 this year. 2 cans of Paris.
Now, is that from the store or did you make that too?
No. I don't can anymore.
Did you used to?
Oh my God, we used to can 100 jars of tomatoes, probably 80 jars of pickles. Willie he loved all that stuff. Now we're going to put the tomato paste in. We've got 5 cans of tomato paste. Grandpa's mother died before we were even married. Yeah, so I have no idea how she made her sauce.
Did his family make a sauce too?
His father would not eat. He would only eat the meat. He wouldn't eat the pasta.
Oh, really?
His mother was all Italian, but his father was all German.
Just wanted the beef.
He would only eat the meat. He wouldn't eat the pasta. Now I don't know why, because his mother. I had Grandma here for dinner, and she ate the spaghetti. All I know is his grandmother was from Naples. She was Napolitan, and she did not make uccidati. That was strictly Sicilian, which would be the boot. Okay, before I put that next big can in, I'm going to put 4 quarts of hot water.
Then do you add more water if it needs it?
Yeah. That's why it's so hard for me to give anybody a recipe, because I kind of do it by sight and taste. See all that paste? That has to melt. And my kettle is so old that it's starting to stick, even though it's stainless steel, so I have to watch it.
Is it 64 years old also?
This is probably, I don't know, maybe 40 years. But my kettles that I use every day are original. My mother bought them for me for when we got married. So they've taken a beating over the years. Willie loved to eat, and so I just cooked up a storm all the time. You know what? I'm going to put that other paste in there. See, I've used this kettle so long. It's like a measuring kettle. In other words, it hasn't come up to where it should. You know, It's weird, I know, but after you know your recipe so well. So you don't want it too thick to start with, because then I put like 3 big handfuls of grating cheese in here. See, in my house, my mother would put the cheese grater and the cheese right on the table. And my father would grate whatever he wanted. So we're going to add a little more water because this is pretty thick. Now, I'm not going to season this until it comes to a boil and you get all that foam that comes. We get all this, I'll show you when it starts. And I take that all off because that's bitter. So while that's cooking, we're going to fry the pork and the sausage. Now see this? This is, I can't stand this foam that's in here.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
now it's really foaming.
Yeah. And I take all that out because that's the bitterness from your tomatoes and your paste. I haven't put any seasoning in until I get this foam out of here. So I'm going to let it come to a boil. And have to watch it very carefully because this kettle is so old, it's starting, like I say, it's starting to stick. Salt.
Oh, there's the famous measuring spoon.
The famous measuring spoon. That's the salt. Sugar. Now we're going to put sweet basil, a lot of sweet basil, a lot of parsley.
No measuring happening at all.
I don't have any clue. Black pepper, a couple shakes, and not a whole lot of the hot pepper because the sausage is hot. This
Like if I
may
don't follow
sound
him.
ridiculous to you, but I look at my sauce and I see there's not a whole lot of green stuff, which means I need more basil. Okay, we're gonna get the grating cheese out and put a couple handfuls of that in. And now we're gonna put the onions in, but we're not gonna put the meat in for a little while yet, till all these spices. So now we have a lull. So now it's cleanup time until that's ready for the meat. 11:45. At 11 o'clock, we'll put the meat in. Not the meatballs. Darren was 5 before he ate it. We have pictures of we were in Canada, and he would never try spaghetti. And you know, being in this house, Grandpa just couldn't get over the fact that he would not try spaghetti. So when we were in Canada, in the cottage, I had brought sauce, and he tried it. And he's never stopped since. You know what cracked me up? These little kids all like this, what's that one that's in the can?
Chef Boyardee.
Chef Boyardee.
All that stuff.
My grandma used to call it crap. She'd go, "You kids want some of that crap?"
Now this is going to cook for 4 hours. It's going to cook for 3 hours, and then I'm going to put the meatballs in, and they will cook for 1 hour. Balls. Only in America meatballs. And the way they serve their pasta, they had the spaghetti white, and then the sauce went on the top. This was in the northern part. This was in Milan and Rome. And then as we went south, then we were getting food that we liked. Pizza was like a flat crust, you know, instead of like we make it, or as you went south. In Capri, it started to get more like the Sicilian, you know, that kind of a different food. And the thing is, when I got off the plane in Rome and we start looking around, I saw all these blue-eyed blonde people, and I said, "Where?" And thin. And so we went in this one restaurant, and this woman was the cook, and she come out, and she was chubby. And I took a picture with her. I said, "Oh my God." I said, "Everybody's so thin and blue-eyed and blonde hair." She said, "Well, I'm from Sicily." And so as we went south, they got darker, shorter, and chubbier. I'll tell you a little secret. When you go like this and you want to know if your sauce is done, you see how that clings to the meat? If the sauce was not done, it would not cling to that meat.
It's all done.
It's all done. And Chris is tasting. Oh my God. What do you think, Chris? It passed inspection?
It's
Hot.
It's so good. it could be a soup if you really wanted to eat just sauce as a soup. I mean, it really could be.
Yeah, that'll thicken up as it stays. And anyway, it's more delicious after it stays anyway.
So how many times do you think you've made this sauce now? What is the number at?
In 64 years, once a month, you add it up.
Well, thanks, Grandma.
Well, you're welcome. Well, thank you for coming.
She made a little to-go package for us.
Oh yeah, that's a heavy baby. I would have never been able to do it by myself.
What do the Italians say when it's amazing or delicious?
Well, bellissimo means beautiful. So
It's definitely beautiful.
delicioso.
Delicioso, bellissimo. Bellissimo, delicioso.
You know, I bought Bertelli one time. I was having company and I looked at my sauce containers and I thought, oh my God, I don't have enough. So I opened a jar, but I had to hide it so Grandpa wouldn't see it. If he would have saw the jar, that would have been a divorce. For somebody that ate Spam when I married him,